What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got a couple of nice and quick duels for you guys to check out. The first duel is going to see Formula athletes facing off against Cosmos. Really interesting. Both of these players are using Metaphos cards in their decks, basically. It does kind of make sense. Cosmos have always worked well with Destruction. That's why in the past we've seen people play like Cosmos with Diagram. We've seen people play Cosmos with like Fire King Island. And then with FAs, it's kind of the same thing, a little different, because in FAs you don't really want to pop your monsters, but you do want to pop your field spells because they float upon destruction. I feel like what Formula athletes need is, I mean, this is an archetype that to me is begging for a good defensive card. Like, Konami is just giving everybody and their mother, Infernity barriers right now, but this is a deck that actually needs it. They have a lot of control cards and they have a lot of like offense from their monsters, but they need a good defensive card in my opinion, especially if you could have that plus your Hang On Mock, which is basically like Dark Law. You get this guy like the level 7. Anyways, Cosmo are up first, and anytime you have Cosmo Town, bricking is really not that big of a thing at Cosmo because you can potentially fix your hand. He's going to attempt to do that, although he still kind of has too many ships in my opinion, like way too many ships. You can see he has Slip Rider, 2 copies of Dart Destroyer, and then basically like 3 Metaphos cards in the back row. Yeah, it just kind of feels like too many Cosmos ships. Anyways, FA Navigator is going to be activated, but he's going to search and immediately be responded by with Dart Destroyer. Perfectly fine because he is going to be able to Pendulum Summon. Now he's going to activate the Navigator, summon it from the graveyard, and immediately going into the Motorhome. This guy is going to just come out at level 11, but usually if you're playing the deck right, it does not stay at level 11 very long. So let's see how high he can go. He's going to activate that Monster Reborn effect to bring the copy of Hang On Mock back from the graveyard. Hang On Mock is dangerously getting close to level 7. When it gets level 7, that's when the card just like explodes in power. And, Slip Rider, this was, I don't know if this is trolling or not. Why would you ever blow up an FA field spell when they float? They just go into different ones. And if your opponent keeps activating field spell after field spell, their monsters just progressively get stronger. So that's not what you want to do. As you can see, the Motorhome is now level freaking 17. Obviously he can pop his field spells with the Metaphos cards as well, so maybe it doesn't matter honestly. Anyways, he now has these Metaphos or these Formula athlete cards at critical levels. He can start attacking. All of the cards are going to be banished because his Hang On Mock is basically just a copy of Dark Law at this point. This was one of the points where I thought the duel was going to change. Cosmo actually main decking Cyber Dragon, and come on man, you can't play Cyber Dragon and not play like the fusions. I mean, I don't know if he has to play the fusions, right? Like, he's not playing the fusions. Who does this? He's playing, oh, this is so sad. He's playing Mega Fleet Dragon, but he's not playing Fortress Dragon because all FAs, like, these are machines. Now, I thought it was weird that he didn't contact Fuse at all, but, whatever. He's going to go on the Nova Infinity. Problem is, and you're wondering why doesn't he suck up the monsters cap? He can't suck up the monsters because the field spell gives protection from targeting. So I think that he didn't read the field spell, to be quite honest. I think that he just didn't realize that he wasn't going to be able to target. Now Motorhome can activate the Monster Reborn. Cyber Dragon Infinity is going to negate. Don't even matter because it has way too many levels. It cannot be destroyed by card effects at this point. So he can just keep on getting levels. And I mean, look at the battle damage he does, 3,500. He does go Metaphos counter, which at least blocks an attack. But again, all of his cards are constantly getting banished, and now he's just going to summon a bunch of monsters. And Cosmo, not exactly known as like the greatest top decking deck. Basically your best top deck is Cosmo Town, but yeah, you would need a pilot and a ship, and with like 1 card, how likely is that to actually happen? You can see that he's adding counters profusely at this point, and I don't really think that there is any coming back for the Cosmo player. So I think that is just basically a wrap. See, this is what I mean though. Imagine if you had this backed by an Infernity barrier, like how much better Formula athletes would be, because you can get all these monsters on board, and really the deck's about progressively like making your monsters stronger, but you need like powerful cards to protect those. I mean, maybe in a format where like Solemn Judgment is, at multiple copies like in the OCG. Anyways, this game is over. I mean, the motorhome could basically just beat him by itself at this point. Anyways, next duel is actually going to be a little bit of a throwback, not super throwbacky, but it's going to be Zodiac. It's going to be True Draco Zodiac. You guys remember that deck from way back when, where you would play like Barrage, get a Zodiac monster, then like tribute the Barrage for the True Draco monsters. It's a pretty cool idea, and you could tribute Tenki to summon your True Draco monsters. It's cool. It's the only reason the deck doesn't work that well is because obviously just, you know, so many cards on the FNL list, honestly. Anyways, it looks like Pendulums are comboing out while I'm talking, and pendulums usually go for they don't go for Hydro Dragon Arching Abyss. They summon Vortex Dragon. This was weird that he was willing to sacrifice so many monsters for ball load, like a blind ball load at that. I mean, don't get me wrong, ball load's actually quite good against True Draco because they can't really like attack over it. So you can just cut their monsters down, and essentially they have to tribute a trap, or they have to like destroy a trap card to get this card off the field. If they don't have a trap, basically if they don't have diagram, you can just stop that. I think that this was foolish. He just instantly negates Tenki. I'd have let that ride because I want to at least know what you're playing. If he would have negated the diagram, he would have been in a far better position because all he has to do is now search a trap. He can tribute this trap for the Ignis Heat. I'm sorry, is it me or does Ignis Heat and Thoroughblade from a distance they look the same, right? It's like they look almost identical. So much kind of orange and red in the card. Anyways, if he would have negated that, the diagram, he'd have been in a way better position here. His Borlo Dragon probably would have lived, which it didn't live that long. Anyways, Thoroughblade is going to start with those Zodiac XC summon plays, and he's actually just going to go ahead and banish the copy of Vortex Dragon by using the Whiptail that I'm sure he has equipped. There it is right there. Pendulums are not completely out of this duel, although he is making advantage. He activates Duelist Alliance. He says, that's fine, I'm just gonna go ahead and search for my Ignis Heat, so have fun with that, Monsieur. And he's just gonna push on. He does activate another copy of Pendulum Call, so now if he pops or if he gets rid of those spells, at least his Pendulum Scales will not actually go away. So that's kind of cool. At least he got a little bit of protection. You can see he's gonna go for Bardiche. Fair enough. The problem is he doesn't really have any like follow-up offense or like plays. He has 2 copies of Fall Blade, which are fine. Fall Blade is not good against Zodiac though. The reason why should be obvious. I mean, if he uses Fog Blade on this, the Tiger Mortar, then there's nothing stopping him from just ranking her up into any other Zodiac monster and then being able to attack. So that's the reason why it's almost useless against the deck. He's gonna do it anyway, which I mean, I'm just like, okay, that's fine, but pretty sure that any Zodiac player knows that the first rule of Zodiacs is constantly be ranking up, and he will be able to do that immediately. Anyways, he is going to go for another copy of Thoroughblade. And I'm probably sure, or I feel pretty comfortable he should be able to finish this duel off right here, especially with the Barrage coming down. Whiptail is going to put itself under Tiger Mortar. He goes for Chakanai. Now he's probably going to detach material, summon back Thoroughblade from the graveyard to get even more damage potentially, or no, yeah, just more damage at this point. Goes for Boreblade, and now he can just like, look at this. By the way, again, he has 3 Ignis Heats on the field with 2/3. Doesn't it look like 5 of the same monster though? Like, I mean, if you're, I mean, when I'm clicking on it, obviously it's like, you know, zooming in or whatever. It's showing you a close-up image, but it really does look like Ignis Heat and Thoroughblade look really similar from a distance. Anyways, I don't think that this guy is surviving this, especially with his copy of Fall Blade not being in the graveyard. That was just that would have been able to at least summon Rusty Bardiche back from the graveyard. Although honestly, I'm not really sure that it would have mattered. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed those duels. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.